And here we go again. This is Chris from Holy Retardation, and I'm going to continue with our huge geek review of HBO's Rome. Currently, we're looking at Season 1, Episode 2. The episode's title is How Titus Fuller Brought Down the Republic, and this is Part 2. Last time we got up to about 11 minutes into it, and so we're taking off right from there. And that there is where our war veteran and protagonist Lucius Vorenus comes home after 8 whole years of Gallic pain in the ass, just so he could discover his wife's been putting out. Okay, so about analyzing the scene bit by bit, I want to start with Vorenus. Kevin McKidd, whose name I finally looked up on IMDb, is such a good freaking actor. I'd say that this is the moment where he truly shines for the first time in this show. Because since the beginning, we've seen him fight and fuck around with Pulo, but this is where we first see his character face some real personal drama. This was the real moment he was dreading on his way back to Rome. He didn't care so much if he would die in battle or something. He was in fact worried about his wife being unfaithful after so many years. He was worried about his family no longer giving a fuck about him. And apparently for a good reason. So we see his reaction when he faces what he feared. And I just love it. The way his facial expressions do all the work, and you don't need to hear him say anything to know he's gonna be devastated and possibly flipping out. It just goes to show this guy is one heck of an actor. But then, this makes me think about my next point, which is gonna be kinda similar and yet hypocritical. And it's because of this bitch. Niobe, or Elaria Sand, or Indira Varma, or whoever the fuck she is. How the fuck could she play her part so beautifully in Rome? And then shit all over Game of Thrones. If I'd only seen her in Rome, I would probably have said that she's an amazing actress. But unfortunately, I fucking watched the 4th and 5th season of Game of Thrones. I mean, I don't want to sound too harsh, because I love the actress so much, and she's absolutely stunning, and her character in Rome is so real and relatable, and just so naively stupid in a bittersweet way that makes you love her. Indira Varma, if that's how your name is pronounced, I absolutely love you. No matter what I say next, I love you, and you'll always be one of my favorite things in Rome. But what the fuck, woman? How could you play Elaria Sand so horribly? She was a character that I totally admired in the Song of Ice and Fire books, and you totally fucked her up. Now, I know it was probably the shitty writing of the show, and the fact that they completely changed the traits and values of the book character. But even that stupid, one-dimensional and vengeful Elaria, you still could have played her so much better. That forced and stupid Dornish accent made me cringe so fucking much, even though I'm probably not one to talk about accents. Whatever. I'm just gonna stop right there with the Game of Thrones crap, because I don't want it to mess with my Rome nerdgasms. From now on, our Indira Varma is only gonna be Niobe, the beautiful and troubled little wife of Vorenus. And boy, is she troubled or what. The following scene is just so freaking amazing and beautifully acted and real. It feels so human that it really makes you feel uncomfortable, as if you're forgetting it's a show. The dad comes home after a long time, and his family does not remember him, or even want to remember him. The wife is scared, the children are scared, and weirded out by this crude intruder who suddenly barges into their home. And the dad suddenly realizes he doesn't actually know how to talk to his children. If this was a fucking Elizabeth Taylor movie, Vorenus would have probably come home and back into the embraces of his fucking princess of a wife, both of them reciting poems in the process. But no, this is HBO's Rome, and it's fucking real. People's love dies in time, no matter how strong. Families fall apart, and it all just passes. Nothing is just fucking purple and happy. Nothing in this world is truly romantic and good. The real world is a shitty whirlpool of random events. I'm also personally bound to be affected by this scene, because I tend to be experienced in the long-gone parent business. When I was a kid, my parents went to Greece for like 2.5 years, and I never saw them during, like not once. And then they suddenly come home and try to parent the shit out of you, and you realize you don't know these people anymore. You don't care about them. Who the fuck are those people? And get the fuck away from me. And surely my parents did not go to fucking war, but this scene from Rome brought back to me the whole memory like a hammer to the heart. So it's safe to say that this is one of my top favorite scenes from the episode, and even season, and even the entire show. Then we come back again to this appointment ceremony that Antony is having and that I know nothing about. Like, what the fuck are those priests? And is there an actual known ritual for these things or something? I don't know. I'm seeing now that the priests have these little busts on their heads. Do those represent the dead or something? If someone knows, just tell me in the comment section. Vorenus is annoyed by the crying baby. You go, Vorenus. I can't stand wailing little bastards. He then apologizes to his wife for calling her a whore in what I would call a very modern fashion. I don't think many men in the Roman world felt that they had to be apologizing to their wives for anything. But hey, you never know. I may often be bitching about how Hollywood romanticizes history, but on the other hand, I feel like history sometimes presents everything in an overly severe and inhuman way. Like, you read about vile killings and rapes and discrimination and all types of cold-blooded behavior, but hey, even 2,000 years ago, humans were still human. So Vorenus apologizing to Niobe for calling her a whore, I absolutely love that. Though we viewers can't help but sense that the bitch is fishy, like deep down as you're watching the scene, you know the baby's mother is actually not a little girl, although she's now 13, nearing 14, and according to Roman fashion, totally nubile and ready for pregnancy. Then there goes the Frank and Marie Baron salt dispute, and a great eye roll from Niobe. I love these subtle domestic feuds. Then it's time to see the spoils of war, and it's a dick in a purse. The big phallus is from a fierce warrior that Vorenus defeated in battle. Nice. I love these kinds of scenes. This is like history at its best. Then we see the beauty of the classical period, an ancient history across several rooms in a brothel in the Suburra, where Pullo is making good on his promise to fuck all the girls in the city. My god, Antony is tired of this stupid ceremony, and so are we. He is now pronounced Tribune of Plebs, and he could give two shits. He needs a drink, and where's he gonna get it? At our favorite place in HBO's Rome, the house of Atia of the Julii. At the bitches' den, we're gonna be having a meeting between our newly appointed tribune and the Senate, led by Cicero, Cato, and Pompey. Atia is gonna be our host, and we're gonna see how she handles the job of having all of Rome's most notable patricians over. As it turns out, she handles them perfectly, because the niece of Julius Caesar apparently does not give two shits as well. Cicero walks over and greets her because he is quite a gentleman, but then comes Cato, and it immediately shows he's an arrogant and quite the traditionally sexist bastard. The woman has to comprehend this meeting is invisible, and Atia assures him she does not see them. I love this moment. You look at both of them and wonder who's the more confident prick out of the two. And we viewers know for sure that it's our favorite imperial mummy Atia. And then Antony comes in all his don't-fuck-giving glory, swaying Atia off her feet. And thus we see for the first time that even our ruthless and cunning schemer has a weakness, and it's estrogen. Now, I have this little dispute in my head about this version of Atia and the Atia that really was. Well, it is true that all the sources stated she was a very pious and exemplary woman and a true matron, but if you think about it more realistically, Augustus became the most powerful emperor in the world. If his own mother had some kind of flaws, are we supposed to believe he wouldn't have concealed them? We read about Atia being this ideal matron and so honorable that Augustus gave her a public burial, which was like a huge deal. But to me, all of this perfection in her profile reeks of suspiciousness. It's almost too good to be true. And while I really doubt she was putting out for Antony, because Antony had quite enough bitches around, I'm starting to think that Atia Balba was very likely an active schemer. How should I put it? Like, with HBO's Rome and actual historical sources, we kinda have two absolute polar opposites. In the show, she's a complete harpy, and in the sources, she's like a motherfucking Teresa. And when you weigh down these two on a scale, I think you hit the middle as a conclusion. She was neither that bitchy nor that angelic. She was just human, and humans have all ingredients. Because I have to admit, as much as I love our show Atia of the Julii, I do have to come to terms with the fact that even she is a little unrealistic in her excessive bitchiness. As one of you guys described her in my previous video, she's wonderfully over the top. That's pretty much the perfect definition. Que bruta figura. We see then that Antony and the Senate are gonna be at each other's throats. Cato, the traditionalistic republican bastard, has problems with the tribune's attire. Sure enough, Antony puts an end to the old idiot's blathering, and our Roman Helen of Troy takes the conjurer of heroes to the courtyard where our meeting starts. I like this scene an awful lot. The bitch fight starts at the very beginning as Pompey the Great addresses Antony by young Marcus. How deliciously offensive. This young general cub thinks he can deal with the great Senate of Rome? Apparently he can, because just like Atia, Antony does not give a shit about who he speaks to. He knows he has the real power and rank plays no part in the matter. So, there we go. Caesar wants a province so that he cannot be sued by those old rascals. But the Senate wants Caesar to resign and maybe go on an exile holiday for fighting illegal wars and trying to take power. Then Antony strikes back. If we're busy giving punishments, then what punishment for Pompey? He deserted his friend and took the cause of the corrupted nobility. I fucking love this. This is one of the other main things which make me such an HBO Rome geek. Not just the part that makes you see ancient Rome in an everyday realistic atmosphere, but also the part where they actually make you ponder on the political struggle in Rome at the time. You don't see the stupid Hollywood Caesar as the demonic and cunning power grabber, and Brutus as some sort of guilty-feeling savior of the Republic, and the Senate as some party of noble and caring politicians. No, not a spittle of that crap. In HBO's Rome, we see the struggle as it most probably was. Caesar wants power and he uses the power of the mob. The Senate also wants power and it uses its money and influence. None of them absolutely right, none of them truly giving a fuck about Rome. It's just a power struggle of the rich as it always has been and always will be. By the way, I absolutely love how they portray Cicero. He just stands there and observes, he doesn't touch the fire, but only gets involved when he wants to put it out and calm these fuckers down. I've been reading his letters lately and I gotta say the bastard's full of charm. And on that note, I'm cutting off the video. Isn't that just so nice? Ending a video with Cicero. So this was part 2 of episode 2 of season 1 of HBO's Rome. Next up will be my review of part 3 of the same episode, How Pullo Brought Down the Republic. This is Chris from Holy Retardation, and thanks for watching.